Welcome to the 2013 Team Basement Systems International Dealer Convention. Woo! Wow, wow. I mean, look, there's a whole mess of you out there, boy. We have come such a long way since our first convention in 1996. You know, this is our 18th annual convention, and it just grows and grows and grows. Wow. And look at this place. Look at this place. I mean, I'm just humbled by, it's the power of ideas and people coming together and sharing and helping each other. It's just amazing, amazing what we can accomplish. So, we had our goal of 1,000 attendees, and you guys made that happen. Over 1,000 people here. Incredible. First, I want to tell you, what does ignition mean? How do we really mean this? And I want to tell you a story. The other day, I was in the shop, and there wasn't many people around. And one of my employees comes up, and he says, "Hey, man, I want to talk to you man to man, all right? Straight up, okay?" He says, "Look, I've had a hard life." He said, "A lot of trouble. And then I got the job here. And ever since, I love coming to work. Everybody respects me here, you and everybody. And I just want to tell you that if it wasn't for this job, I'd probably be back where I was. So I just want to thank you for that." And to me, that is a great example of what ignition is all about. It's bringing out the best in people, the best qualities, the best energies in people. It's actually creating an environment where people they voluntarily want to give their best energies, right? Their best work, their best talents, where they want to offer it. I love when employees, maybe they had other jobs in the past and nothing really happened for them. Maybe they were ignored or something, and they come to our company and they blossom. I love that. That's so awesome. We need to continue to create organizations that ignite the best in employees and customers. And I think we're well on our way. What do you think? Many of you are getting really, really good at what you do. I mean, we see dealers growing and growing, and it's not just new dealers either. I mean, it's cool to see a business in their 15th or 20th year continue to grow. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Leadership is one important reason. Without a leader with the right clear set of goals and a daily focus on achieving those goals, and not much happens. The business will flop around and never achieve its full potential. But there's another reason that I want to talk about, and it has to do with time and teamwork, teams working together over time. When a team is new, or there's a lot of turnover, so a lot of the team members are new, we don't work well together yet. We don't have a system, a rhythm for getting things done. There could be power struggles as team members jockey for position and try to show who's better than who. And the team members don't know what other team members have expertise and talent and knowledge. So we just don't use each other's skills well. But because we don't know who to rely on, what happens is we feel we have to do a lot of different things ourselves, even stuff that we're not good at. And that prevents us from spending the most time on things that we are good at. I mean, think about your family, right? You know your family's talents so well that you've come to rely on them. Like, for example, if there's a new computer to set up, mom and dad might not even bother with it. Let's just give it to the teenager to have them do it, right? They're the expert at it. Mom and dad don't have to think about it. They don't have to worry about it, struggle with it, learn about it. Just give it to the teenager to do. And then mom and the teenager might rely on dad for the automotive maintenance and repair and home maintenance and repair. Don't have to think about it. Don't have to learn about it. Don't have to worry about it. It's going to get done. Give it to dad. He's good at it, right? And dad and the teenager might rely on mom for certain things, maybe registering for school or paying the bills. They don't have to think about it, don't have to worry about it. It's going to get done right, okay? So it's knowing your family members or your coworkers well enough to make life more efficient and easier by relying on their strengths. Now, when great teams develop at work, we form a sort of collective mastermind. We know that Joe is great at this and John is great at that. And we know we can access their knowledge simply by asking the right person. And we can get the quickest help and the best help. We form a sort of collective mastermind. And you know that you can tap into their knowledge and at the same time be relieved of the burden of knowing everything yourself. We form this sort of organizational intimacy, and we can be much more productive. And as you walk through the buildings in Seymour and Omaha and Virginia Beach, you get to know our staff and what they have to offer. And you could add their knowledge, their intelligence to your collective mastermind and not have to recreate it for yourself. And that will move things together faster. You know, it's the same dynamic as in your family, right? It's your work family, right? You know, in 1989, 24 years ago, my production department was a revolving door. I mean, people didn't stay very long, and it was a sign that we weren't doing things right. But today, I'm proud to say that no foreman has voluntarily left their job in 20 years. 20 years. So I visited 4 jobs last month in a 2-day period, and this is what I found: a $6,500 job done in one day, an $8,800 job done in one day, an $11,000 job done in a day and a half, and an $18,000 job done in 2 days. I mean, these guys really work well together, right? And I think about it, and it's like these guys are the jets that we launch off the deck of the aircraft carrier, right? And they can't do what they do, go out there and be so productive by themselves. There has to be a whole team of people behind them, teams of people. We have, there's supply chain people and product developers, and there's the marketing department, and there's trainers and managers and the call center, right? The service department, the sales department, everybody's behind these guys. And, you know, I see so many dealers working together so well now that you're just achieving things that really never could be imagined before. So give yourselves a hand. You know, by participating in the economy and the marketplace each day, we influence it and change it. And as I say in my book, when we create a successful business, there's no higher calling because we make the world a better place. How? Well, consider our customer, a homeowner, who's getting 3 estimates on some home repair or home improvement, right? Each time they choose us, what they're saying is, we provided the best alternative compared to contractor number 2 and contractor number 3, right? Well, imagine a world where we did not exist. Then contractor number 2, who doesn't provide as good a service as we do, as good a value as we do, well, then they would be number 1, right? And the customer would get a lousier deal. Well, we do exist, and each time we sell a job, we're making the world a better place than it would be otherwise. And it's the same with employees. When an employee makes a choice to work at our company, what they're saying is, we provided the best alternative, and we're making their lives better. And when a contractor such as you all decides to join one of our networks, you're saying that you'd be better off by doing so, right? We need to create organizations where large numbers of people want to voluntarily do business with us. It's free people making voluntary choices in a free marketplace, and us being the one they choose that makes the world a better place. And I want to thank you for being part of it. I want to tell you a story. Earlier this year, John Halbrin from Dr. Energy Saver heard about an invention from a guy named Kim Flores having to do with making gas furnaces more efficient. It is an amazing invention, absolutely amazing. Cut the story to Ouray, Colorado. Anybody ever been to Ouray, Colorado? Beautiful town in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. And a couple months ago, we were on vacation there, on an RV vacation, and we go walking down the little main street of Ouray, Colorado. It was me and my son Tanner, and my daughter Chloe, and Mike Lane, and his son Sam. So we're hungry. We see this little Western restaurant. It's called the Outlaw Restaurant, right? So we go in, and we're looking around, and there's memorabilia all over the wall. I mean, this place, this wasn't like a Texas Longhorn franchise, okay? This was the real deal, okay? Real, authentic, West. And we're looking around, and behind the bar, there's a hat hanging where no one could touch it, protected from the public, messing with it. There's a hat hanging, and it says, John Wayne's hat. And it turns out Sam is a huge John Wayne fan, right? He's seen every John Wayne movie, most of them many times, and, he's just starstruck by this hat. Him and Mike are just starstruck, right? So they're talking about it, and the waitress comes over, and Mike asked the waitress, "Is that really John Wayne's hat?" And she says, in fact, she had worked there for 30 years. John Wayne used to come into the place to eat, and she can in fact validate that it was John Wayne's hat, right? So she takes a drink order and she goes away, and Mike and Sam are like, wow, it was really John Wayne's hat. Like, the Duke was here, and all this, right? And we came up with the idea, someone at the table came up with the idea, I wonder if they would let Sam wear John Wayne's hat. Right? And we were all saying, there is no way in hell they're letting you touch John Wayne's hat, okay? So the waitress comes back, she put in the drinks on the table, and I could see what Mike was thinking. He's thinking, you never know unless you ask. So he says to her, I got a huge favor to ask you. She says, yeah, she's putting the drinks down. I mean, it is huge, she says. She says, yeah. I mean, you would make somebody's year, she said. He says. She says, you want to wear John Wayne's hat? And he says, could we? So sure enough, she goes behind the bar and gets up there and takes John Wayne's hat off the wall. And here's a picture of Sam wearing John Wayne's hat. All right? Okay, so go back to our original story. So we're supposed to have this conference call to talk about Dr. Energy Saver having the technology just for the home performance market, right? So just before the call, I decided I needed to ask to wear John Wayne's hat. So we get on the call, and instead of talking about what we're supposed to talk about, I asked to buy the technology. And I heard laughing. And the comment exactly was, I remember it very clearly, that's not going to happen. So I figured, oh, this is going to be harder than it was in Ouray, Colorado. But we talked intensively for 2.5 weeks. And we got to know each other. And I'm proud to announce that we have formed a new company called EcoLeap that owns this technology and will be taking it to the world. One thing that we developed in our networks is a culture of learning and a culture of training. I mean, no longer can, to grow the businesses to the level that we have them now, no longer can one person know everything, right? We have to have specialists who really know what they're doing to train the rest of us. And the cool thing is you could see that specialist who's training a class sitting as a student an hour later in another class from another specialist is teaching on a different subject, right? So we're all teachers and we're all students, and that's the way it should be. No longer are we just a network. We're a network of networks. I mean, you have the Basement Systems Network, many of which members are, but not all, are part of the Clean Space Network. Right? And then you have the Foundation Support Works Network, who many members are part of the Basement Systems Network, but not all. And then Foundation Support Works brings in outsiders to join the network. And those outsiders may likely join the BizWiz Network, and they might likely be part of the Treehouse Network. Then you have the Total Basement Finishing Network, which shares members with the other networks. And we have Dr. Energy Saver Network and the National Radon Defense Network, and so forth. Okay? We even have our own motorcycle gang, the Sons of Thunder Network, right? And we even have groups of dealers who network together, right? Dealers who are friends and they help each other. We have dealers' employees who are networking with other dealer employees, right? It's amazing how many cross connections we have. And the other day I read about Ricky and Pat Edwardson from Basement Systems of West Virginia, and they were going out to visit Foundation Recovery Systems in central Missouri to see how they do things and visit with them. And then when they were leaving there, they were going up to Keith Johnson's Innovative Basement Systems in North Dakota to pick up their poly-level rig. Keith is building equipment for the network, So it's like we have all networks within networks. I think it's the most amazing thing. You don't see this other places. You don't see this anywhere. I think it's so awesome. What do you think? Since last year, we finished our RV tour, and after the last convention, they had a long way to go. They went from Oregon all through Canada and upper part of the states. And so I'd like to acknowledge all the people who did a tour of duty on the RV. Let's have them stand up. Let's give them a hand. We visited every dealer in North America. Wow. Wow. You know, when we did our Ideas Worth Sharing skits, I went to 4 banks and I got 7,500 $1 bills, right? And when we dumped them out on the floor, they laid flat and it wasn't really impressive, right? So a lot of us spent a lot of time. We crumpled up every single $1 bill so they have some body and pile up, you know? Well, after the skit, Dave Iannone wanted to roll in the money. So, you know, it was like watching a cat roll in catnip, you know? So I just want to share that with you and thank Dave for a great metaphor there. So, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is problems. I mean, how many people have had problems, right? Yeah, we all have problems, like this one that our foreman found out on a job. And, you know, sometimes you have problems. You have, you know, bad weather, there's delays, there's accidents, there's difficult customers. You know, you have a bad day, bad week, bad month, you know. So what do you do when you have problems? You keep trying, you know. How long do you keep trying? Like my mentor, Jim Rohn, would say, until. Until. I met our guest speaker tonight, Aaron Ralston. He's had some problems, right? He didn't give up, right? So we got to go at the problem, don't give up, and we got to conquer those problems, like Chris did. So look, we're all going to have problems, but this is what I want to say to you, okay? There ain't anybody in this room that could have a business problem that we can't solve together. You have amazing support. Give it up for your friends. Do you recognize this? It's the sculpture in front of Building 1. And I want to tell you what its name is. It's called Silver Lining. You see it? Now, every cloud has a silver lining is a great metaphor for us in the basement waterproofing business, obviously, right? But it's also a great metaphor for our lives. We all have stories of bad times and struggle and ultimate victory. And we need to help each other and support each other through those bad times. We need to be strong for others when they can't be strong for themselves. And we need to help our friends even when they made a mistake. So I want to thank you all so much for coming here tonight. Keep going after your goals. And if you don't give up, one day you will find your silver lining. Thank you.